Welcome to another edition of Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm your host, Rick Couri. Here we are in the month of Christmas, and we have a gift, and it's called high school basketball. We're going to talk a lot of high school basketball today. Tournament of Champions is still coming up, of course, but depending on time when you're watching this, December 26th, 28th at the BOK. So we're going to talk to some folks from Webster. We're going to be talking to some student athletes from Webster. We'll be talking to folks over at Booker T as well, and we're going to get into all the basketball you can take, boys and girls, right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics. Stick with us. We're coming right back. Happy holidays and welcome back to this edition of Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri, your host, and we're joined by the athletic director from East Central High School, Rickey Bruner, who has just admitted to me the teachers went out more than the kids for Christmas.
Most definitely. Yeah, we are ready for a break for sure.
There's a lot to take care of, not just as coaches, as teachers, but as coaches in this last couple of weeks. You've got football ending, of course, and you've got basketball, which is not, it's not that it's beginning, but there are certain things still kind of revving up. And then you're trying to get into the playoffs with all that. Plus, you're trying to get kids through some finals and things. Mm-hmm. What is it like for an athletic department right now with all that to deal with?
Yeah, it's definitely a busy time, finishing up football and that transition and then getting those kids into their next sport. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're sharing coaches, and one coach is going from football to basketball or wrestling, and different things like that. So definitely a busy time. Like you said, finals are on the way. So staying on top of kids, putting in grades as teachers. And then everybody wants to do the Christmas parties and events. And so it's definitely a busy time, and a break is definitely needed.
Yes, I'm sure it'll come at the right time. What is the transition like from football to basketball? There are, as you mentioned, not only kids, but coaches crossover. And so you've got a lot to do. It's getting equipment in, getting guys on or young ladies on to that next thing. What kind of time frame does it take you guys?
We try to get through it quick as possible, but it is can be time consuming, just making sure that inventory is done. Sometimes you have coaching changeovers, and filling positions, and then getting those coaches to their next sport and getting them acclimated to just, basketball or wrestling or different things like that. So, yes, definitely a timing thing, but, we just kind of do what we got to do, hustle and bustle. It's nonstop, which does make the year go by faster too when you're steady moving and grooving. But, we just do what we got to do.
It's interesting that when you're hosting a sport like a basketball, obviously most of the time it's going to be in your gym. You host a football, and you guys have a stadium that's on property. A lot of people don't, though, and they'll go somewhere else. Is it harder, or is it just more time consuming? Is it more intensive to host something in your building rather than at another venue, even if it's on your campus?
Yes, definitely harder at your place, just because we want to be great hosts. And so we're setting up hospitality rooms, making sure everything's good to go on the floor. And then it seems like on game day, something always goes wrong, Just the other day, like the clock wasn't working all of a sudden, or it may be the music. It's just something on game day. So it's definitely more intense when you're hosting, just because you want to be good host and make sure everything's good to go. When you're on the road, you kind of just get to show up and go play,
Right.
So. Yeah, definitely.
And everybody thinks if it's an AD, right, that you are just sitting at the top kind of watching everything in the valley. No, if someone doesn't show, you get the job, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a lot, and I'm also helping the boys basketball team this year as well. So making sure everything's good to go. Every 10 people are coming at you with different questions, and then you got to worry about the kids too.
Yes.
So it's nonstop, but I definitely enjoy, being able to help any way that I can.
All right, so be honest, with all those little jobs, whether it's timekeeper or any of those things, which do you not want to do the most?
I do not want to run the clock. It's pressure.
There's no win there, is there?
Yeah, it's no win, and somebody's going to be yelling at you about something. You missed a point. You done something wrong. So yeah, I don't want to mess with the clock.
Yeah, I got you right there. All right, so tell us about your basketball team so far. How are things going?
Going well. We're 4-1 right now. Just had a big win last night at Claremore. Our kids, our boys are doing really well. You know, they good group of kids. You know, they cheer each other on. We've had some big wins. We went to New York over Thanksgiving break and had a big win against OSL Prep down there in Brooklyn, New York. Got to play at the historic Lincoln High School where they made the movies. He got game and above the rim.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat to, you know, and just a great experience for the kids. They got to go to Times Square. They got to go to Coney Island. A lot of them have never seen the beach before. So that was a unique experience for them, you know, just a lifetime memory that was able to be made. We got some talented kids that are getting a lot of college interest right now. So it's been exciting for our boys basketball program.
You know, it's one thing to see them in practice and to think you know what you have, and you had some of these guys in the program before anyway. But then when the lights go on, you're never sure. Have they been a little bit better than you thought, or about the same?
For me, I would say a little bit of both. You know, in some instances they've been better, and in some instances, you know, it's just the coach in me like, oh, we're not ready. We gotta, you know, go back and get better. But I like the way that they're gelling and coming together because we got a lot of new players in this year with some returners, and they've gelled, and our chemistry is pretty good. You know, just got to keep building and keep working with them.
Last thing, when you have the break with them, how's it handled? I know in college they love it. They say we get you the whole time.
Oh yeah.
And in high school it's a little different because their kids going here and there. So how difficult is the break to keep everything kind of running smoothly?
Well, for us, I don't think it's difficult at all. We have some kids that are gym rats and they want to be in the gym. So, you know, for me, I just try to make sure myself as well as our other coaches are communicating with the parents at first because we aren't college coaches. Right. And some of them are going to be going out of town and things like that. So we try to schedule it to give them some time off, especially with us not having a tournament over the holiday break, our boys. But we're also like, we need to be in the gym as much as possible. So it hasn't been hard, you know, and I think our kids will be there because they're having some success and they know they got to keep staying in the gym to continue that success.
Well, as you know, we're taping this before Christmas, so we're just saying that I hope you get that thing, get it to the end, brother.
Yes, sir.
Get that time.
Yes, sir.
Rickey Bruner, Athletic Director at East Central, thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
Back with more in a moment right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey, Tulsa, we have a crushing recycle play of the day for you. Team Johnson versus paper and cardboard.
They're starting off slow today, probably trying to figure out what to do with those styrofoam plates, since they're not recyclable.
There's the big play we were waiting for. Boom! Completely empty cardboard boxes dunked in the cart. Score big by recycling your cardboard and paper. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I love Will Rogers Athletics because it helped me physically, spiritually, and emotionally through all the journeys I've been through at that school. All of the support staff helped me a lot, and it's just an amazing school.
Athletics at Will Rogers changed my life because it became a second family. With the support of my coaches and teammates, it's helped me gain confidence, work as a team, and will help me in college and in life.
And welcome back again to Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm your host, Rick Couri, and we are pleased to be joined by the East Central High School assistant girls basketball coach, Whitney Deetz, who's new to coaching. So tell me, why did you decide to get into coaching, Whitney?
Well, I was just in the gym one day playing. I played back at home whenever I lived back in Mangum, Oklahoma, and just in the gym shooting around, and they videoed me and got it to the athletic director, and he was like, hey, well, we need an assistant coach. Would you be willing to help? And I just jumped on board.
You know, one interesting thing about being a player transitioning to a coach is, in my history of watching, a lot of times the best coaches weren't the best players. Not that they weren't good players. They weren't the best players. Naturally gifted people had a harder time explaining to someone how to do something. I mean, the basics are one thing, but I can just do this and you can't. How do you take what you were good at in basketball and transition that to your girls?
So far what I've been doing is just coaching as if I'm the player, as if I'm out there, just going through the motions of what I'm supposed to be doing. So I do my best to try to teach our girls to do, you know, what I was taught to do.
So in that situation, are you boxing out the kids underneath? You giving them a little hip?
Oh yes, absolutely.
You got to get them tough.
Yes,
right?
you got to get them tough. Yes, you do.
So when you decided to do this, I'm fascinated by this when people decide. Now you go out there in that gym on that first day. Take me to that day. What was that like? What were you feeling?
I was a nervous wreck, a complete nervous wreck. I wasn't sure what to do or how to go about talking to them, because these are new kids that I knew nothing about, but they welcomed me with open arms, and it just came naturally. So.
Once you got started,
yes.
Did the flow come pretty easily?
Yes. I've bonded with all of the girls in ways that I never thought I could bond with other people's children. So I'm loving it.
Over the shared basketball?
Yes,
right?
Over shared basketball, yes.
What do you think the best thing you'll have to teach them is? What were you best at as a player?
Well, I was a post player, so I think for me, teaching them those post moves and just trying to, teach them the mentality of what it is you got to do on the court.
So how are your post players there? Are you harder on them than you are the others?
No, I'm not.
Come on, be honest.
I'm a little softy. But no, just doing my best to get them ready for each game day by day, just taking our time. It's a learn as you go process for us over there right now.
So you're young, so I have clothes older than you. So you're young, so but even though that's the case, the game's going to evolve, and it already has. And when you mentioned post play, I think back to the guys I watched, and that was Kareem and Wilt Chamberlain and Willis Reed, and how the game has evolved in the post. How do you see it evolving now on the girls' side?
I see it going pretty well. I see it going, the more that we're in there and learning and understanding the game, that the post players, they're gonna rock it this year. Yes.
So tell me about your girls a little bit.
Okay, so we got Jayla Miles. She is a junior who's a post player. She does really, really well. She can handle the ball. She goes up as hard as she can. You have Bree, Anna McAwee. She's an all-around player. She can give her the ball. There's nothing she can't do with that ball. She'll go up and just kill the game. And then you got Cameron Henson, who's a really strong post player as well. She'll post up on anyone and just go up for the kill.
So tell me about your team overall. How are you doing thus far, and what are your expectations for how this group can get better?
Well, we're a new team. We didn't have the summer camps, like all the other schools did. We're playing catch up right now, and a lot of the girls, it's about learning the concept of basketball, learning the concept of those plays and executing them the way that they're supposed to go. But it's a learn as you go process, and I just want everyone to trust the process.
Are they picking it up?
Yes, they are. Yes.
When you get a team who is new, and they've played before, obviously, but
right.
Together like this, they want to get to game day.
Yes.
And sometimes that practice part is, and they want to get there.
Yes.
How are you keeping them interested during the times that are so important?
Well, that's been a little bit of a struggle, it's been a little bit of a struggle. But like I was saying, it's a learn as you go process for us. We're just doing everything that we can to keep the girls motivated and try to keep their head in the game and not overthink it as much as they do, is what we're trying to do for them.
Now, you are soft-spoken, there's no question. You'll get over that.
Happened a little bit last night.
Right, in coaching just a little bit. You do kind of find your own voice, right?
Yes, you do. Yes.
Are you feeling that coming along?
I do. When I first started, I wouldn't say anything. I would just kind of sit back, and just kind of watch Coach Mack do his thing. But as I'm learning the coaching, it's starting to come out of me more, like my tone of voice and everything. Give them that look like, okay.
Got a little side eye going right there.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on getting into coaching. And thank
you
for showing up to do that with us.
Thank you.
This lady right here is Whitney Deetz from East Central High School. She's an assistant coach for the girls team. Watch for her to be a star. Back with more, Inside Tulsa Athletics coming up.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against a tough competitor, plastic.
Don't trust those numbers on the bottom. You have to stick to what you know. Only bottles and jugs found in the kitchen, bath, or laundry. They're quick to pick up. And empty those bottles before sinking that shot.
Always empty your bottles before recycling. Score big by recycling your plastic bottles and jugs. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
being an athlete at Nathan Hales means that you have to be consistent, outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
It's almost Christmas. It's almost time for the Tournament of Champions, but it's time right now for another piece of Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri, your host. We're joined now by Bo Richardson. He's with the Central Boys, and I made a mistake with Bo. I said, hey, you guys still practicing that old gym? You've had a new school forever, Bo. But I'm that old. I actually played in that old gym. You were telling me you didn't even know where the building was for a while. You've heard the stories, though, right?
Yeah, I've heard the stories about it. I mean, of course, you see it on the walls about how amazing Central was back in those times. Oh, from tennis, we didn't have tennis. Tennis, golf, baseball. We didn't have baseball no more on our program. So it's amazing to hear those stories.
And not only that, but that place was such a cacophony of sound with being closed in like that. It was chaos to play there, which had to be great. Now tell me about your guys thus far. How are things going?
Things was going all right at the time. We're still working, still trying to figure things out. More importantly, on the defensive end, I'm trying to make us more grounded on defense and come together on rebounding, boxing out. But we're getting better. I can say that. We're getting better every day. I see we're getting better at improvement.
Every coach says it's harder to teach defense now. Do you find that to be the case?
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
My take, it's a hot take. Kids today has more skill, like in a whole, kids have more skill than I did back in my day, but kids are, I don't know if I can say this word, dumber than how we played the game. Like we had more IQ back in our time too. They have less IQ today. You can tell they don't watch that much they watch highlights, they don't watch a lot of basketball.
No, I get what you mean. The situational awareness in games, no matter what the game is, football, basketball, whatever, more information, more opportunity, but it actually allows you to focus on one thing, which just makes it so that you don't learn the other thing. So do you start that way in the gym? Do you get them into basic drills and say, okay, I'm going to find out who knows what first?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll get them into the basic drills. Just slide your feet. How can you cut off your man? Because, kids some days don't even know how to cut off their man the right way. And it's just the proper way to box out, or I'm trying to get my kids to take charges. So we do a lot of charge drills every day, so I'm trying to get them to buy in on the little things. But we're getting there again.
Once you get somebody to believe and they start, then the belief tends to come along, then doesn't it, from others?
Yes.
Kind of player-led, right? How much do you talk to them about game in your day? Because sometimes players are good with that, and sometimes they don't want to hear it.
Only time I talk about my day game is when they ask about it. Besides that, I know most times they don't want to hear it. They always say I'm old. They quick to say you old nowadays, no matter how old you are.
What do you think your team's getting better at right now?
We're getting closer as a unit. We are getting better at defense. We watch a lot of film together, so they get to see the things they do good, the things they do bad, things that we do good as a team, and then also things that we need to work on a lot too. Because that's one thing I like to preach. I preach a lot of film, especially on yourself, because like I said, they don't really watch the game and they don't really get to see themselves play. They go off of what they think they did.
Right, and then when you show them film, you see some eyes open up. Are your guys looking forward to film nowadays, or like,
At first they wasn't. Now they look forward to it because I made it into a game. So it's now more interesting to see them call out what they're doing or what else doing, or not seeing the rotation. It's kind of, film is more fun per se than, because also back in my day, coaches, when you watch film, it was on mute. You didn't hear no nothing. You had to just stand there and just take it. Now I like them to hear sound, let them see, let them actually be like a part of, like they're the fans watching in a sense.
Yeah, that is nice, and the technology does help. During the break, during the holidays, school's out, a lot of kids, scatter, families scatter. How do you keep them together? How do you plan to keep them together? What kind of a schedule you have during that time?
I know there's rules for this break as far as like being in the gym, being out the gym. So I'm gonna try to keep us in the gym as much as we can with the rules. And just some days we're in the gym, but we're probably not shooting that much ball that much. We're just kind of together, just to keep that, keep that family bond going, because I know the season just started.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. The season just starts, and you get this. You have to try to maintain what you've taught and what they need to learn, and that momentum during this. It looks like maybe you've thought about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the most important thing is staying in shape. That's the one thing, because I know Thanksgiving, get out of shape. Thanksgiving, you get out of shape during Christmas, and then it goes a little bit on to January. Then that's when you kind of get your shape back. I'm trying to jump the curb where we're still the same throughout the whole thing. I know it's going to be hard to do, but
yeah, because you've got 2-3 weeks in here that you have to be a part of that, and then you get into that January, February grind, and it can be a grind. So they go from kind of less activity to a lot of activity. It's pretty shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's surprising for me being head coach how when season started, oh my gosh, October 1st came so fast, and then today, it came so fast today too, and I can only imagine how the rest of the season is going to take off. So I guess it's with age too, how time flies in a sense.
Well, one thing happens is they don't get any older, but we do, and that does make it harder, right?
Yeah.
Bo Richardson from Central, thank you very much for being
appreciate
here,
you.
talking a little
I
Central
enjoyed
boys
this.
basketball. We'll be back with more Inside Tulsa Athletics coming up.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field, and that it's the littlest things that will make all the difference in the long run.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with, not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
We're back with more Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm your host, Rick Couri. Central girls basketball coach Jimmie Walker joining us now. We're having an interesting conversation here off the air about some of the teaching stuff you do, which I think is fascinating. People don't always understand. Coaches teach.
Oh, yeah.
You've got other stuff and other responsibilities. How do you divide up your time to prep, Jimmie?
It's tough. Cause good thing about the bridge class, my lesson plan is already there. I just have to move it around to fit what we want to do in the class, and then basketball, you got trying to get that done in between your playing period, which I got first out playing, so I can get all my stuff done and get it done within the first hour playing, and then I got PE fourth hour, so sometimes I can in PE look at some stuff and get some stuff done. So
it works all out, huh?
Yeah, it works.
Now, you were talking about earlier, you said that during this bridge program, which brings in ninth graders, that gets you a chance to kind of learn these kids early on, and some of them may end up coming to play for you. Has that been valuable?
I had, 4 freshmen. Three of them that came and played.
So is that valuable, getting to know them off the court?
Yes, and getting them to know them on a personal level, because in bridge, that's what we get to do. They get to know me on a personal level. I get to know them on a personal level.
And that helps a lot when when you have to sometimes be tough as a coach. Having that relationship makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yes, totally.
Tell me a little bit about your girls thus far. I know it's not been easy.
No, this year we're struggling. One returning starter from last year that played, a bunch of young pups, 6 freshmen, 3 sophomores, junior, and 2 seniors. And one of the seniors didn't play last year. So, we've been struggling. And also, majority of those girls play flag football, so I didn't get them until 3 days before our first game. So, yeah, it's been tough learning on the fly for them and coaching on the fly. Something different that I have never had to do.
How do you, if you can perfect it, you're going to make a lot of money, but how are you approaching trying to get that done?
You just got to, you have to coach to what they can do right now, and still keep trying to work on certain things, but you only can coach to what they can do right now. So that's about it. me and my coach, assistant coaches, we just try to put them in a predicament to be successful. And, you know, we've been in a game here and there, and then the other 3 games, we just start off where just not it, and the youth shows too, girls that really shouldn't be playing varsity basketball as 9th graders, except for one of them. The other ones, you know, they should be playing JV or freshman, but they have to play with the number of things, and because we just added 2 girls, so that makes us have 12. But also I have one that broke her foot, one's another one in the boot. So
you've had a tough start.
Yeah.
How do you teach basics when you're trying to teach so much more at the same time? Do you just kind of segment that out?
Yes, and the big thing we do is we're real big on fundamental and development kids. And so because the way we coach, you have to be able to be a basketball player, not a robot.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Yeah, you can't be a robot. So, you know, it's that development stage that we're trying to do. And by January, they'll figure it out, you know, mid-January. Usually by now, they done figured it out.
Sure.
But you can see some improvement in a lot of them and some growth. So, you know, you just got to keep working at the end.
One thing about having young people, I mean, it can certainly be frustrating, because not frustrating. You just know you have a base to build, but you also can see a future in there for them. What do you think this group's going to be like when they kind of get their feet under them?
They'll be all right because they got height, got guard. So, you know, the only thing they're missing is a point guard in that group. But everything else, they have it in that group, you know, and they'll have a chance in another two years, I think, in 2 years to have a chance to be good, which is some younger kids in junior high that's pretty talented. So that'll help them out also.
Do you preach that to them, or are you just working on the moment?
Nah, we're in the moment right now. You can't look, yeah, we all about the moment right now. You can't live for 2 years down the line. So we're in the moment. Because then if you're in the moment, then if you looking forward to 2 years from now, they're gonna look, you know, past that. So I want to keep them focused. And right now, you know, as a coach, I know what's gonna go on in 2 years,
sure,
but I can't tell them that.
Well, I've been around some coaches who would say, "Hey, keep this up because there are good things coming." Not necessarily telling them, but they've been telling them there are good things on the way. When you're having tough losses, how do you go about approaching film and practice and things like that? Because you've got to pump them back up as well as teaching.
You have to come in there every day as a coach with a game plan. I've been there where I haven't been one before. So at the end of the day, you come in there every day with a game plan. Last year we were 1-9, and we ended up going 10-16 and a game away from the regional championship, playing the regional championship. But at the end of the day, you come in there every day. One thing about me, I'm not giving up, and they're not going to give up. So, you know, we'll just keep fighting. That's all you can do.
And right now, just get the best out of them that you can get, right?
Yep.
And get them through the break.
Yep, get them to the break. That's it.
Now, he's missing class. You got to go back and teach some PE?
No, bridge PE going on right now. Coach Bo, who was in here, I was covering his class. We both got PE at that time together. So I had his class and my class, so he got my class and his class. So I got bridge class. We're going to be doing some sculptures with foil and then working on a portfolio.
All right. So that's what's coming up, kids, if you happen to be watching. That is Jimmie Walker from the Central Girls. Jimmie, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. You're back with more Inside Tulsa Athletics next.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
Hey, Tulsa, we have a crushing recycle play of the day for you. Team Johnson versus paper and cardboard.
They're starting off slow today, probably trying to figure out what to do with those styrofoam plates, since they're not recyclable.
There's the big play we were waiting for. Boom! Completely empty cardboard boxes dunked in the cart. Score big by recycling your cardboard and paper. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Welcome back. Time for more Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri, your host, and we are joined by a familiar figure. That is not James Harden. That is Eli Brown. He's the head coach at Booker T on the boys' side. What's up?
Hey man, I'm doing well.
Someone's mistaken you for Harden, right?
Well, not the height part though.
If you're sitting.
If I'm sitting, yeah. I hear it all the time. I hear it all the time.
Now, we saw each other a couple of weeks ago out at the Doubletree. What have your preparations been like since? I know you had a nice win, I think it was last night, right?
Yeah, last night we played at Collinsville and we won that game, and the game before that was East Central game, so kind of a rivalry game there. But the preparation has kind of been the same. It's really just try to really get our kids skilled where they need to be successful game in and game out, the little minute details of it, of how to use those skills and when to use them and what to use. And so then just we're a defensive team, and so we really hammer that every day. And we do a lot of psychological things with our kids to try to help continue to keep their mindsets where they need to be. I think that's the hardest part of the job right there. But that's our preparation. Really just lock in on the opposing team that we're about to face and really try to find everything that they do and how we can exploit the things that they do.
Your best on their worst and that kind of thing,
Absolutely.
Right? So are these psychological tricks trade secrets, or can you tell us one?
Well, no, just things like trying to allow them to not look ahead and look forward, and exercises like putting sheets of paper down with certain games written down on there and then removing them and say, can you go from this game to this game? Can you get there? No, you can't. You have to take it game by game by game. And so I think that's the biggest psychological thing that we're trying to, get with our kids, and then just always mental toughness.
And we talked about with another one of the coaches here. That gets to be a little bit harder. How do you go about doing things in practice that can help that?
Well, I like to do things that give you an impossible task that I know you cannot complete, and ask you to give everything you have to try to complete that task, knowing you're going to fail. Because we want to see if you have a crazy hard task in a game, can you complete that task knowing that this is going to be very, very difficult in that moment, whether it's a one-on-one situation, whether it's a rebounding situation. Can you stay in that moment and be mentally tough enough to take over this such crazy hard task? And I think that's the biggest thing with the mental toughness, and just giving them things that I know they can't get. I know they won't make this time on this run, or just practice is over and maybe a ball is left out, and I may wig out just to come on back. We're finna run to see who's gonna scoff, to see who's gonna just say, you know what, that's coach's rules. We're gonna get it done. And so things like that, just to really put them in situations, adverse situations in practice, and then making the gym chaotic. It's chaotic in games.
Right.
So you make the gym chaotic with music and kids in the stands, and you just still got to stay locked into the moment. So we do things like that to try to.
That's fantastic, and it's hard to do. When you find those people willing to do hard things, they become leaders quick, don't they?
Absolutely, because that's what leadership is. Willing to take the blame, willing to step out there on faith and make it happen, willing to say, I'll get it done, and willing to bring people along with you and to do those impossible tasks.
Well, at 6-1, obviously you're doing that. So tell me what you're most pleased with right now.
Well, I think I'm most pleased with just our kids being together. They're not selfish. They love each other. They work hard for each other, and they play for each other. I think that's been the biggest thing that I have witnessed within our team this year. And then just our ability to defend, I think has been really good. We've had some lulls offensively, but defensively we've been kind of steady. And so that's been good for us. But, I mean, we still got a lot of work to do, a ton of work to do, but we'll get there.
Defense travels.
Absolutely.
And that makes a huge difference, especially like last night when you mentioned you go to Claremore, a gym where it's chaotic. You get you got a bit of a drive. That's a place that's really proud of their basketball team.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you guys came through.
Yeah, it was a defensive battle, so to speak. It was only 40-49 in the score, and we had been averaging like 75 points a game. We couldn't throw it in the ocean, but our defense was still sustainable, so that we were still able to, sustain. Well, we had to come back actually, and then sustain the lead. But shout out to Collinsville. I mean, they worked hard, and they were prepared and ready to go. And we kind of, again, that overlooking situation, since we play in Missouri on Friday.
Right.
sitting there overlooking that game. And I'm telling you, it's just one of the hardest things to do with kids.
Oh, it is. There's no question. It's probably for the adults too.
Absolutely.
Quite honestly.
Absolutely. You got to keep checking yourself.
Yes, you do. All right. So tournament champions obviously is still out there and something to do. You know, I know like in the old Army-Navy game, people will say, you know, they practice 5 minutes on Army or Navy every day, no matter who they're preparing for. Do you do that for tournament of champions stuff, or do you treat that like another game?
Well, you treat it like another game. However, I would do that if time allowed. You know, in college you can kind of go 3-4 hours, and you can mix some things up. In high school you can't go that long. Kids got to get out there and do homework, things like that. But you do watch film on potential opponents, and you start breaking them down early once you find the matchups, and you start preparing as a coach. You start preparing for those potential teams, getting everything structured and ready, and going out to go scout those teams. I've already scouted every opponent out that I could play in the Tournament of Champions, and I know everything about all of them. And I'm not saying that arrogantly. I'm just saying that that's how prepared we try to be, because those are some juggernaut games.
Yep, they are, and that's a juggernaut team right there. That is Booker T. Washington, and that is Eli Brown. Thanks for being here, Eli.
Thanks
Back
for
with
having
more coming up right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against a tough competitor, plastic.
Don't trust those numbers on the bottom. You have to stick to what you know. Only bottles and jugs found in the kitchen, bath, or laundry. They're quick to pick up. And empty those bottles before sinking that shot.
Always empty your bottles before recycling. Score big by recycling your plastic bottles and jugs. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I feel like athletics is so important at Tulsa Central because it's an outlet for some of our kids there. They get a better opportunity to basically give back to our community.
At McLean, the sports is what mainly drives a bunch of the students to come to school every single day and work hard, because they want to be able to come from the classroom to the field or the court and show at what they're good at.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right, only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. I am Rick Couri. I'm your host, and we're now joined by Carlin Adkism. I have learned to say his name. He's at Booker T with the girls basketball team. And Carlin, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Not bad. Now, the last time we saw each other was at Doubletree Hotel. Tell me how that went for you guys.
It was good. It was good. It was good atmosphere up there. We got our seedings and everything about who we're going to play, and we got an opponent in Hammond, which is an affordable team, and it's going to be a good game for us.
That gives you a little time to prepare, which is really nice. Take us inside preparation for something like that. I know a lot of coaches will assign things to certain people. How do you guys go about it?
Well, it's my second time, but it's been a while since I've been in the Tournament Champions. But the first time we did, we kind of like you said, we assigned a couple coaches to go out and kind of watch the teams and get that film and gather that film and kind of break it down to where, what we need to do to be successful in it, and just go from there.
At this point, you're talking about a lot of different teams that you don't normally see. Does that make it a little bit more fun to get ready for somebody, or would you rather have somebody you're familiar with because it does make it easier?
Well, I think it's good for the team aspect of it. Just preparing for a different type of style of basketball that you don't see, often. I believe that so once we get into it, it's kind of the same basketball, the same, with the same type of feel, but it's exciting, just to go against some teams that just play like that style, but it's all good.
So how do you feel 6 games in?
I feel like, we're going headed in the right direction. I feel like, the growth is coming. I see it there. I feel like we need to kind of sharpen some things up as far as discipline and understanding our assignments, and, when a game gets tough. And then a little bit of our preparation, mental preparation before games can tighten up a little bit.
Is that harder than it used to be? And I ask that because I think there are people who will say that some video games have made it harder for coaches to prepare because everybody wants to do the video game thing. Yeah. You think it's harder to get people to do basics?
Definitely. Not only video games, I feel like just the WNBA and NBA, how that game is changing. It's more of a shooting game now. You know, everybody want to shoot the threes and things like that and not get back to the basics of playing the inside-out basketball and things of that nature. So I feel like the video games is, you know, taking it, you know, an extra mile, like you said. Just, you know, basketball is just not, they're making it get away from the fundamentals is basically what I'm saying. And so once we, you know, kind of own back into that aspect, I think we'll be fine.
How do you do that and make it fun and keep them interested in that? Because you do have to keep their
Yeah,
attention.
definitely. You shoot the open shot when it's there. You know, you understand the assignment versus what we're trying to get accomplished in the game, and depending on who we're playing. But I feel like, you know, we just kind of stick to the game plan and understand how to play basketball. You know, I've always been taught that basketball is played inside out, and that doesn't mean that the ball got to stick inside every time, but it's just, you know, through penetration, through passing and cutting and movement. I feel like that, you know, that's what we got to get back to playing.
What's one of the more difficult basics to teach someone?
What's the basics to teach someone is triple threat. Understanding when I get the ball, understanding how long the ball shouldn't stick in my hand, able to dribble, pass, or shoot, and the timing of it, of understanding, should I shoot now or pass now and cut and get it back? Just those triple threat options and choices have to be made at that split second at that particular time to where you can, you know, make a good play out of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then you do things in practice and you
Mhm.
take it out in the court, and it takes a few games, we understand. You got to find that right mix for you. How long does it normally take you to find that mix? You might have 5 best players that aren't the best 5 on the court at one time.
Right.
And that's a tough thing to kind of gauge early, isn't it?
Oh, mine start just throughout that day before we get to the game. I'm seeing who's zoned in, who's ready, who's locked in and ready to play a basketball game. So it just start with like pregame. You know, who's in that zone, you know, warming up, who's locked in, who's engaged, and, you know, not, you know, playing around and doing those things like that. So, and then, you know, as far as the game is concerned, you know, just who's not having those awe moments to where they're just not, you know, we have a lot of those. Like I said, I call them awe moments, like, because you're not mentally ready. You didn't take that mental preparation and go through those, so it won't have so many awe moments at the.
Once they do that, though, do you find that belief in their eyes?
Oh yeah, well, you know, coming over there and sitting with us will be fine. You know, that's what we do. So you'll be ready next time, right? So,
yeah, like what Coach said, there's a big sign at the end of the building tells you how you're doing.
Exactly. There you go. There you go. Right.
Once you see that, the rest is good.
Right.
What do you want to see your team develop at the most over the next few weeks here?
Just like I said, mental preparation. That's a big key for me. I'm a more mental guy when it comes to preparing and things like that. But just as far as the team, collectively, I believe that we need to honestly think about coming together more, just playing more of a cohesiveness basketball game, and just trusting each other. I believe once we do all those things, everything else will take care of itself. Because
is that part of that just familiarity?
And sometimes it's too much familiarity. You see what I'm saying? I think that's what our team is. It's kind of, we have a lot of experience, and then we have not so much experience. And if we can gel that together and meet somewhere in the middle, to where, you know, and just trust, you know, just building that trust and that growth. And we just got to understand growth. You know, it's going to be uncomfortable for a little bit. You know, so that's good.
Well, good luck in the Tournament of Champions. And
Thank
thanks
you.
very much. As Carlin Adkism is with the Booker T. Washington girls basketball team. Back with more coming up right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hales means that you have to be consistent, outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined, and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people, no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome back for more Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri, your host, and we're joined by the head basketball coach of the Webster boys team, Glenn Henry. That's a good-looking pullover.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Like I said, it was given to me by the last coach, so it was still in the closet, so I had to pull it out.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
I've always appreciated, even back when I was playing, I've always liked that logo for Tulsa Webster. All right, so early on, tell me about your team. How's it going?
It's not going too bad. We're 3-5 right now. We had a tough loss last night. Lost by 3 to Amogi. We beat Morris at home, and we beat Miami at Veneta tournament, which was a good win, and Dove Science. So we're on the right track. We're just trying to get everybody to buy into our offense, and but for the most part, we got plenty of guys who can score, and our defense has been pretty good this year. So,
what we keep hearing from people is, everybody's got somebody who can score, but you've got to teach more defense. How are your guys with that?
At times, we play really great defense. We can get more consistent on it. It's for young guys, they want to gamble all the time and go for steals and not just stay solid and keep them in front of you. And when we keep people in front of us, we were pretty good defenders. We just got to stop the gambling. And then, of course, rebounds are always a big key. And kids, again, they want to jump first before they want to box out first. And it's like a habit-breaking thing we have to teach. And so that's where we're at right now with that.
How much is it easier, or is it harder, or is it a combination to teach that during film when you can show them, or to teach that in practice when you're going through scenarios and you're actually involved?
I think it's a balance. It's like I always say, they have to recognize that they're not doing it first. And if I can get them to recognize that I'm messing up, then they'll it's easier to change. If we're just yelling and screaming it all the time, it's just wasted breath. So our biggest thing, like you said, use film to show it. We'll clip it and show them, and then we'll show it in practice, go over repetition. But again, I keep saying, if we can get them to recognize it in themselves, then it's a way we could move faster.
Sure. And when they do it and they have success, it becomes easier to teach, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely. And then now they're getting on each other. It's an accountability thing. After that, guys are saying, "Hey, you jump. You're supposed to box out." And so that's how I know we're getting to them, when they're talking amongst each other, and the coaches are not having to do it as much.
Sure. So, player-led, right?
Yep.
Coaches will tell me, whether it's football, basketball, doesn't matter, finding the personality of your team. What's that personality going to be like? And sometimes it takes a long time. How's that coming with your group?
That's one of I told coaches the other day, I said, this is one of our issues, is trying to find our identity. We have the capability to score. We have all the necessary tools. Now we just need a person or a player to step up and say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're going to do on defense, or with calls on offense. I told him, it saves me from yelling and losing my breath every game, calling out the plays. So I said, and everyone's always looking to each other. So eventually we'll find that leader out there who wants to, lead and guide them all the way down to a win.
Do you have an inkling? What do you think the personality will be like?
It has to be a 1-2. I think the ones who can score should be, definitely leading, and the ones who are on defense should definitely be leading. But I have an inkling that it's there. I think for our guys, it's peer pressure. I don't want to say something because then the other guy might get mad at me. But I said, in the end, if people believe in that person, then they'll follow them.
Yeah, they certainly will.
Yeah.
Now, during the time of this break, I've talked to a lot of coaches about how they handle that. You've got a lot of time off, and you're just getting them into kind of where you want them.
Yeah.
How do you keep that from going away during that time?
We'll have a lot of mandatory practices during the break, and then we'll, if we can, might set up a scrimmage or two. But we definitely have to keep focused on film, probably a lot of film watching over the break, and then preparing for the next tournament and games when we get back from the break.
Do you expect when you get back, is it not really like starting over, but a little like that? Because you kind of got to get that.
It'll be, definitely getting in shape. That's it, everybody's be eating grandma's pound cakes and turkey and everything. So that'll be the biggest part, is getting back into physical shape and learning to, to move the ball and get up the floor without, feeling like you run 2 steps and getting tired. So that'll be my focus, really, is to make sure we're getting into quality shape when we get back, and because I know some guys will go out of town. So,
and that grandma's pound cake, that really sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
Glenn Henry, head basketball coach, Webster boys. Thank you very much for stopping in here.
All right, thank you so much.
You betcha. Pound cake. Now I'm hungry. All right, back with more Inside Tulsa Athletics next.
Hey, Tulsa, we have a crushing recycle play of the day for you. Team Johnson versus paper and cardboard.
They're starting off slow today, probably trying to figure out what to do with those styrofoam plates, since they're not recyclable.
There's the big play we were waiting for. Boom! Completely empty cardboard boxes dunked in the cart. Score big by recycling your cardboard and paper. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I love Will Rogers Athletics because it helped me physically, spiritually, and emotionally through all the journeys I've been through at that school. All of the support staff helped me a lot, and it's just an amazing school.
Athletics at Will Rogers changed my life because it became a second family. With the support of my coaches and teammates, it's helped me gain confidence, work as a team, and will help me in college and in life.
We're back on Inside Tulsa Athletics. I am your host, Rick Couri, and we are joined by 2 student athletes from right here where we are taping this show. At Webster, we have Jayann John, who is with us, and we also have Dickerson. Did I say that right? She's Jayann, right? But I want to make sure I said that right.
Dickerson.
Dickerson. Thank you very much. Both of these young ladies are basketball players. Neither one of them expected to be here today. So what were you doing when they came and found you?
Well, I was just talking with a friend because I had already finished all my work.
I was in class doing makeup work for my biology exam.
All right, so are you happy that you're getting to miss something right now? Is this fun?
Yes, very much.
Well, good. Let's go.
No,
let's have some fun here.
Because I was doing makeup work. That was all.
Oh,
and I was scared to be on TV.
No. This is really pretty simple. I'm not going to ask you the hard questions, like I said, like fastest land animal. But if you want to work on that at home, we'll talk about it later. Tell me about the season thus far. You just mentioned that you guys had a nice win.
Yes, we've had a couple of wins. We did play last night. The outcome wasn't what we expected. It was 30-50. But yeah, other than that, we have been playing way much better than last year.
What do you think this team is doing better? And tell me about getting started, because as you said, you've had some struggles. So it's hard to fight your way up a hill. How are you guys handling that?
Well, I feel like the struggles is like getting everybody there, because in the beginning, not everybody was showing up, but now there are some who has like tried to show up. That's good. Everybody's working hard, and it's just we're progressing from there.
Do you feel like it's getting better?
Yes.
Absolutely?
Yes.
What do you feel? Do you think things are improving?
Yes, 100%, especially with the practice audience and who shows up to the games on time and who's willing to put in work outside of school.
How do you become a leader in those situations? How do you try to get someone to do those things if you see someone who you think can be really good and they just haven't put in the effort yet?
If I see them in the hallways skipping or just not being in class, I tell them like, hey, you need to go to practice. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Or when it is 7th hour, I say, come on, let's go. You're not about to be late to practice. We're not running because you come on, let's go. So yeah, I just make sure they stay on top of their toes.
So you have to run if somebody's late?
Yes.
Oh,
half the time.
Coaches, yeah, I get that a lot. Tell me a little bit about what you think you do best right now and what is it you want to get better at?
I think what I do best is like, showing up when I can and like helping the others when like they're having a little trouble with something. But
what do you like best about practice?
What I like, just like, cause in the beginning we have like, we work out. I mean, we stretch, and then when we're like going into the middle, we like clap and like get louder, and then what's it called when we go like?
We go 1, 2,
yeah. Like, I don't know. I just feel like this season, like the team bond is like really close because we are really close, and I love it. It's what I look forward to seeing every day.
What about you? What do you like best in practice?
In practice, I love talking during the warm-ups with Jayann and Janaea. We talk during the warm-ups, going over our plays because we do have things that we need to work on. And in practice, when we go over, I just like enjoying the fact that my coach peeps like, oh, we need to work on this. And we do it during practice.
Now, we've got the holiday coming up, so are you finding that it's harder to stay focused at this time? You only have a couple more days of school. You have practice during that break, but you got to somewhat be serious at the same time. Is that hard?
No, if you really have your mind set to basketball, you'll be able to do any practice at any time, any game at any time. So no, it's really easy to stay focused.
Well, Jayann, you were shaking your head, so apparently you agree.
Yes, I do agree. If you set your mind to it and you're motivated enough, then nothing will really keep you distracted or keep you away from what you want to do.
Well, how will you work on your game over the break? I mean, you have practice, I get that, but then you'll have other times when you might go out in the backyard or wherever it is. Are you going to do some extra work?
Yes, that's what I do already.
What are you going to work on?
Like, handles, and like maybe I'll draw up a little plays and ask my siblings to come out and like stand where I need them to go. Yeah.
In other words, you just want to kind of wail on your brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Right, I understand that. That's a good plan. What about you? Do you have anything close by? Do you kind of hang out? Do you got a court around that you can go play in, and do you spend time doing that?
Yes, I go to the gym in Broken Arrow. And also being at home, I do inside dribbling drills in my garage, or I lay on my bed and I shoot the ball in the air, just little things like that.
That's fun. All right, so for Christmas, if you could get any basketball skill for Christmas, what would you want?
Playmaking.
What about you?
Handles.
Explain what you mean, because now everyone's going to understand.
Like dribbling wise. Because I can dribble, just not where I want my levels to be at.
That's a drawback. Well, ladies, I know they grabbed you guys late and last minute, and you were a little nervous about it, but it's just all fine, and we're almost done. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, that is Jayann John and Vinaya Dickerson. They are both basketball players here at Webster High School. Back in a moment to close it up here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against a tough competitor, plastic.
Don't trust those numbers on the bottom. You have to stick to what you know. Only bottles and jugs found in the kitchen, bath, or laundry. They're quick to pick up. And empty those bottles before sinking that shot.
Always empty your bottles before recycling. Score big by recycling your plastic bottles and jugs. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
So there's your gift from Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri here, and that is high school basketball, boys and girls, from the folks at East Central, from Webster, and of course from Booker T as well. Do want to remind you, as I said, Tournament of Champions, if you're watching this before December 26th, 28th, will be at BOK. You will find the finest basketball anywhere. This tournament, above all, it matches small town Oklahoma and big town Oklahoma. It's going to be fantastic. But no matter what, whether it's basketball, wrestling, or anything else, pick out a sport, go support your Tulsa Athletics. We'll see you next year.